Welcome to Please Remain Seated, episode 12. I'm happy to be here with you tonight. That was the late, great Prince Rogers Nelson with Party Man from the soundtrack to the 1989 Tim Burton film, 1989 Tim Burton film Batman. One of my favorite iterations of the character, and it was kind of the Joker's theme in that movie. So that's kind of why I wanted to play it, because we're going to talk a little bit about the Joker tonight. Everybody's favorite villain. So, before we get started, please subscribe to this channel. I really need subscribers. If you have a YouTube account, please subscribe. It would help me out greatly. Also, hit that like button. Hit the comment button. Let me know something. Let me know if you like the videos. If you don't like the videos. If you like my opinion, don't like my opinion. I'd love to hear it. So please interact. Also, don't forget, Please Remain Seated is brought to you right now only on YouTube. So it's not available on iTunes yet, although I'm hoping that will change. Right now, only YouTube. You can reach me at 612 Cowboy across all social media platforms. All right, thanks a lot. What a week, right? There's so many things I want to cover. I think I'll start out with the Joker, actually. The Joker movie hit theaters on Thursday, October 3rd, and it's a Warner Brothers film starring the great Joaquin Phoenix as the lead character. And what a great actor he is. He just seems like he only gets better and better. And I have mixed feelings about this film. I think he did a great job. It is a Joker origin story. So we kind of see how the Joker got started, this and that, which is very common in comic book films to do an origin story. Now, Joker is pretty unique because most superheroes or supervillains have very hard origins, meaning you can't really stray away from it too much. Joker does not. Joker, you can kind of go a lot of different ways with that. So, in this film, they do a very interesting job of painting him kind of as an outcast who is really a victim, really. And I won't give away all the plot points, but I can't really decide if I like it, if I think it's amazing or not. Acting, yes. Story, I don't know yet. I don't know if the story is something I would call amazing. And I also hate to disappoint you guys, but I don't see any way this film lives on in the lore of superhero films. I do think it'll be a standalone film. I don't see Joaquin Phoenix. Is that how you say his name? Joaquin, Johnny Cash, whatever the hell his name is. I don't see this film morphing into some sort of, movie universe where he comes back and fights Batman or Superman. I can't see any of that happening with this character. Also hope I have the mic calibrated better. I'm sorry for the horrible audio last week. That was very embarrassing. I wanted to do much better than that. So, I don't want to give the Joker film plot away, but I think it's worth a watch. I do think it's a good movie. I think it's got great acting. And at times it's very, very good. But I don't know overall if I like it as in my vision of the Joker, as portrayed by Jack Nicholson or Heath Ledger or even Cesar Romero. I don't know if this lives up to that or not. But, I definitely think it's worth a watch. Speaking of movie theaters, I recently got to visit the new Midwest City, Oklahoma Warren Theater, and I was a bit underwhelmed. I like the Warren Theater. I was disappointed a few years ago when it was sold to the Regal Cinema Corporation. Mr. Warren was no longer involved. So I was very excited to hear a few years back that he was coming out with a new theater that would be a Warren and it would be in Midwest City. But lo and behold, now that it's open, it is called a Bill Warren Theater being managed by Regal. So really it's just another Regal cinema, guys. The Warren experience that we all knew and loved when the Warren first opened in Moore is still not back. And there's nothing in this Midwest City Theater like director's suites or any of that kind of stuff that made it so cool. This is just a regular theater with there are upstairs areas for drinking, but it's not a director's suite or anything like that I think is so cool about the Warren. So my early thoughts on the Midwest City Warren is a thumbs down, unfortunately. A thumbs down. Because it's not the Warren experience that I was hoping for by any means. What else is going on? I was some big news this week. Bernie Sanders actually had a heart attack this week, and he is on the mend. He is trying to downplay the fact that he had a heart attack, which I kind of understand, because he's already 78 years old, and he doesn't want to paint himself to be frail, so he is downplaying the fact that he had a heart attack. But the news has come out, and he did have a heart attack. I do think this will lead to him dropping out of the race soon, even though he says it's not going to. I think it's just too much. His own party will ask him to step away from the campaign soon, and I think that's bittersweet. I would like to see Bernie lose on his merits, on the bad ideas that he has, not on the health. So that's unfortunate to me. But like I said on social media a few days ago, I guess he really did feel the burn right in the middle of his chest cavity there. Sorry, Bernie. See you down the road, buddy. It wasn't your time. Somebody's got to win. Somebody's got to lose. I think Bernie's out of it. So expect Bernie to drop out soon. He might make the debate stage on the 15th. I know he's planning to at this time. But again, it's not to get a shot anyway. Nobody's got a shot in that field against Trump. But Bernie is definitely on his way out, I think, now. What does this lead to? A lot of people saying that Hillary's coming back now. Hillary will ride in, take over, save the day because Bernie's out and there aren't a lot of good candidates on the Democrat side. Guys, come on. Come on. You believe that? There's just no way. There's no way Hillary's coming back. Nobody wants Hillary back. So I don't think you can waste any more breath on that. It will not happen. She's worthless. Her health is worse than Bernie's. There's no way she's coming back, even though it would be hilarious. So all the rumors about her coming back, I think, are false. You know what? But I have heard some weird things recently about Elizabeth Warren. I don't know if you've ever been looking into her situation, but a lot of people are coming out of the woodwork saying they were males that were hired to be her intimate company, so to speak. And I guess she has some unusual habits that are coming out. I think that's very interesting about Elizabeth Warren. By the way, I think Elizabeth Warren is like Bernie light. Like Bernie wants to make college free. Elizabeth Warren might want to make college not free, but it only costs you like 2 pieces of bubble gum or something. Elizabeth Warren is definitely Bernie light. I think that it's very interesting that these scandals are starting to come forth on her, even though they're more personal. is very telling. She's another one like BERN, completely out of touch. Her financial concepts make no sense. She has no grasp of how to keep a capitalist society going. She doesn't get it. I read an article recently where it said under her plan, Jeff Bezos would lose $73 billion on her proposed tax plan. So she's another one that's just too far out there. Too far out there. Speaking of too far out there, let's switch gears to the great AOC, Miss Ocasio-Cortez. She has come forth with a plan today on October 6, 2019 to give all federal benefits to everyone regardless of their status, meaning disability, welfare, food help, all that. She's proposing this plan today. Let me read a quote from her that came out today about her proposed plan. She says, "Our nation must recognize that our history of immigrants, enslaved peoples, and refugees built this country. We all do better when we create a just society that embraces our most vulnerable people, populations, and citizens. We need to pave a path to prosperity for all," Ms. Cortez states. "My bill will ensure that all persons in need are eligible for the largest programs on the social service safety net without regard to their immigration status." I want you to know, guys, according to this proposal, all federal public benefits, we're talking about retirement, welfare, health, disability, and unemployment, as well as any similar payments that are provided to individuals and households, would immediately be available to people who are not citizens. Not cool. Not cool. Does that make me an asshole? I don't think so. Think about it like this. If you're in college and you're having a party and everybody, all your roommates show up and everybody chips in for beer, you put $1 in a day or something, you end up with $100. Somebody puts in a little bit more, you end up with $100. At the end of the week, you go buy the beer. At the end of the month, you go buy the beer for the party. And then right when the party begins, some people show up and say, oh man, you have all this beer. And they start drinking it. What are you going to say? Whoa, man, we saved up for a month. We all chipped in for that. That's what's happening here. I mean, AOC is like that. That kid in Walmart that says, wow, look at all this food in Walmart. Let's give it to the homeless. Let's give it to the homeless because they need food. Well, it doesn't work that way because you have to give something back to the people that made it. So this is something that just shows how childish AOC is and people like her, Beto O'Rourke, whoever. These people are so childish that they don't even understand basic concepts to reward hardworking people that provide our food, for example. But there's something bigger than this. There's something much bigger going on here about this proposal. I think what we're seeing is the big ask. The big ask is when you have someone say something like, I need $1 million. Please give me $1 million. And they go, whoa, $1 million, that's crazy, that's so much money. And then they go back and say, well, how about 100,000? And that seems like a lot less. So that's what I think is going on. AOC is using this platform to do the big ask, all this welfare stuff, so that one of these Democrats running for president can then step back and go, whoa, we're not going to do all that. We're just going to do universal basic income, or we're just going to do Medicare for all, so we can back up off of the far left position. I think that's what they're trying to do. Of course, none of this matters because Trump is going to whoop this Democratic field like no tomorrow. I don't know if you heard about this, but last week, Kamala Harris, whatever her name is, Kamala, whatever. I think didn't she wrestle like for Mid-South Wrestling back in the 80s? She had her face painted, Kamala. Look her up. I think she did wrestle pro wrestling when she was younger. Look up Kamala. Anyway, she comes out for a rally this week and says, "Who's ready for my presidency?" And you can just hear the boos. People are like, "Boo, no, we're not ready." I thought that was hilarious. She definitely has grandiose her own position, I think, because she has no shot. She has no shot. So the big ask is what AOC is doing to put herself out there to ensure that one of the other Democrats looks less liberal and can possibly beat Trump. Or guys, AOC wants Trump to win. Everybody's like, whoa, what did you just say? What did you just say? Yeah, AOC may want Trump to win because it could ensure that she's a bigger player in 4 years. Then if a Democrat wins, they're going to get another 4 years. So don't be surprised if AOC and some of these far lefties actually want Trump to win. I'm going to put that out there. You know, sticking with politics, this Joe Biden saga keeps unfolding. Here's my problem with it. We talked about Trump's call last week. There's nothing really in the transcript. Why is the media not talking about the Joe Biden situation? I mean, they're making Trump a truth teller once again. Fake news. Why wouldn't they be exploring Biden? There's pictures of him golfing with the Ukrainian president. There's him on tape saying, "Yes, I did make them fire that guy and hold money over their heads so that my son will be taken care of." But nobody's exploring this. Nobody cares because Trump is unfortunately right. There is a media bias. There is a media bias, and it's quite ridiculous that nobody is exploring this further. At least looking into Joe Biden. There's no real movement on impeachment. Again, I think that's BS. Not going anywhere. I think it's another empty trick by the Democrats to say, "Hey, we lost to him. We're just going to try to get him impeached." It won't work. It won't work. And with any luck, Biden will finally be investigated, and then we'll see what really happened with his son and Joe himself to see what the heck they did in relation to Ukraine to get us in this mess. What else going on? I saw some stand-up comedy this week. I got to see Mark Normand. Mark Normand is a guy out of New York, and his name is spelled like the city Norman with a D on the end. He was at the Paramount Room in downtown OKC. This guy was hilarious. I met him at the show, after the show, had a great chat. Just a great comedian. Not afraid of woke culture, not afraid of cancel culture, still doing great comedy. I know, made fun of me in part of the show. I rolled away for a second. He said, "Oh, I guess it's time for the show to end. I see that even the wheelchair guys leaving." I think that's hilarious. We're so scared to be funny now. Mark Norman was a great example of what's possible when we're not scared to be funny. And we're not scared of woke and cancel culture, which is ridiculous. Also, Bert Kreischer was here this week, another colleague of Joe Rogan's, another stand-up comedian. He was at the Criterion. Unfortunately, I did not get to see his show, but I heard it was a great show, and I did meet him after the show in Bricktown. I met both Bert Kreischer and Mark Norman. Great comedians. Please look them up. Please support stand-up comedy. I think it's a great medium and a lot of fun. Speaking of woke culture, I got a kick out of the new Papa John's commercial. I saw that Papa John's has employed Shaq as a spokesman. Maybe he's part owner, I don't know. But I thought it was funny because the Papa John's owner gets fired for something he said 20 years ago or so, and he's a racist or whatever. Well, now they bring in Shaq. So once again, you see the overcorrection by the left, the embracing diversity over quality, and trying to get Shaq in there as a figurehead. So it's just funny. It's just we're moving so far away from our meritocracy that it's crazy. That's why I love sports, because meritocracy still exists in sports. The best people play. The best people are at the forefront. There's no false pressure to create engineered diversity. They just let people in sports rise to the top who are the best. And I wish all of our country would do that with regard to everything. In the world of disability, I do want to touch on something real quick. Public transit in Oklahoma City is ran by Embark, the Embark OKC City Transit. I've been using that transit for about 21 years, getting back and forth to work, getting to meetings, getting to this and that. Well, recently I've been told that I'm losing my subscription because I haven't used it according to their new standards enough. So this is a subscription ride that I've guaranteed every day, and I have to cancel a lot based on my work schedule. But the cancellation policy states as long as you cancel within 1 hour of when your ride was to happen, you're fine. Well, now they've come out with a policy that says even if you cancel correctly, if you cancel a certain amount of times, you'll lose the subscription. I think that's awful, because now my guaranteed ride to work is not there every day, and it creates a whole bevy of problems when I follow the cancellation procedures. So here we are, people with severe disabilities trying to work, and we've been thrown another roadblock by the people who run transit, who, by the way, don't use transit. None of them use transit, arbitrarily deciding, those subscriptions need to go away. So now, if I have a need to go somewhere or a need to use my day-to-day ride, if I don't have another ride to the office, that ride will not be guaranteed anymore. I would love it if my listeners and my viewers would get out there and complain to Embark, look up Embark Transit on the web, and let them know that canceling subscription services for the severely disabled when they cancel responsibly is ridiculous. So I encourage you guys to get out there and get on them about removing the new subscription suspension policy on Embark Transit. I think it's bad. I think it makes it harder for people with disabilities to work, and it needs to change. It simply needs to change. If the subscription is being abused or the person's not canceling responsibly, then yes. But if someone is diligent, following our rules, they should not lose their subscription, whether it's me or someone else. I know a kid in my office going through the same problem as I am, and he has a lot less resources compared to me, and I don't know what this will do to him. So if you guys want to help me complain to Embark, I would encourage it. Jason Furbosh, their administrator, reach out to him, let them know that you support people with severe disabilities keeping their paratransit subscriptions. All right, thanks a lot for that. On that note, I'm going to have a tasting here. We got a wonderful, about 14-year-old Wild Turkey bourbon. Wild Turkey, what is this thing called? Wild Turkey Reflections, I think. It's one of the Master's Keep selections. I'm looking at the box for it now. And the cool thing about this one is Revival, by the way. Wild Turkey Revival. The cool thing is it is about a 14-year-old bourbon, and after they get through aging it that way, they move it into Oloroso cherry casks from Spain. And I think it did another 3 or 4 years in the sherry casks to give it a very unique flavor. Let's give it a quick taste test. Wow. Wild Turkey does it again. Oh, they're one of the great whiskey makers in the world. So if you're lucky enough to find Wild Turkey Revival, pick it up. It's outstanding. Just love everything the Russell family does. This is no exception. What else is going on? We talked about Embark. I want to go over, the baseball playoffs started. My Minnesota Twins are already in a 2-game hole to the New York Yankees. I'm very sad about that. I don't like the Yankees. And it's becoming increasingly apparent that our pitching is not good enough to hold up. So I'm not too optimistic that we're going to come out of this series victorious. We play in Minnesota, though, tomorrow, so hopefully we can pick up a win. While I was watching the game the other night, I saw this very funny commercial. I'm a big fan of Chef Gordon Ramsay of Hell's Kitchen fame, the English chef who yells at people a lot. He did an AT&T commercial for the new iPhone. And in the commercial, he is in like a Sam's Club, and he is serving frozen quesadillas to the customers. And someone comes up and says, Chef Ramsay, why are you serving frozen quesadillas in Sam's? And he says something like, shut up and try one. And the guy grabs one and he says, no, you fool, use the cocktail stick. It's not a buffet. And with his trademark accent, And he says, this is not, me working here is not as bad as using the new iPhone on a network other than AT&T. So that's kind of the joke of it, but I'm not an AT&T fan. I'm a Verizon guy, but I do appreciate the humor in that commercial. What's going on in college football? The Oklahoma State Cowboys were defeated by the Texas Tech Red Raiders Saturday. I don't recall the score, but it was quite soundly. I was very disappointed in that. I want to see OSU do well. I don't know what they did with their defense. I don't know why they didn't show up for that game, but once again, it's why I hate college football, is because you can't lose. College football, I don't know why Oklahoma folks are so into it. You got to win all your games, so your schedule's prepackaged to make sure you can win early. It's not nearly as exciting to me as the NFL game because the structure is so poor. If they have real playoffs and you could lose games and come back as a wild card, all these different things, it would be exciting. But the way they've got it, you lose 1 or 2 games, you're probably not going to have a chance to win it all. So college football is definitely not my favorite football to watch, as I've said before many times. Now, having said that, the Oklahoma Sooners got an easy win against Kansas yesterday and are gearing up for their famous Red River rivalry game in Dallas, in which they play the University of Texas Longhorns. This is the only college game that I get super, super, super excited about. You see, I got my Beat Texas hat on, like Barry Switzer wore back in the day. I hate the Texas Longhorns. I like Ohio State more than I like Texas. And I do not like the Buckeyes. Sometimes I call them something else. But I like Texas even less. So I get super excited about OU Texas. Can't wait for that game. Number 6, number 11. I think OU can squeak out the win, but I think it's going to be difficult. I can't wait. That's one college game that I do get very, very excited about. So we'll be talking about that game next week. Can't wait to discuss that game with you. OU Texas in Dallas at the Cotton Bowl during the Texas State Fair. There's nothing like it. The love of my life took me there as a wedding gift. And it was a day I'll never, ever forget. Getting to see that OU Texas game. What a game. What a game. There's just nothing quite like OU versus Texas. So, definitely, I'm getting excited about that. We're doing the 11 a.m. kickoff once again. So, get up early, get a couple beers in you, get a couple wild turkeys in you, whatever. Get some hot wings. And let's get ready to enjoy some great college football, because that is one college game that I get super, super excited about. My Dallas Cowboys, guys, we are on a 2-game skid. We took a loss today to the hated Green Bay Packers. I'm very sad about that. I thought we could come in and right the ship against Green Bay after losing to New Orleans. It didn't happen. The referees were terrible. They missed pass interference after pass interference, holding after holding after holding. Cowboys were screwed over by the refs. It was so bad that Jason Garrett got a flag himself for throwing the damn challenge flag down too hard. We really got to get this referee situation under control. I saw that the Dallas game had a multi-gender referee crew. I'm not saying that's good or bad, but I did notice that there were both male and female refs on that crew. Very, very, very poor refereeing. Get it together, NFL. Let's see some quality refereeing. I just can't say enough about how bad that sucked. Cowboys got down 31-3, battled back, and nearly got the win, but they lost 34-24, unfortunately. So we'll see where we go from here. We definitely have to get a win. I'm afraid that maybe Dak Prescott is just not good enough to lead our offense deep into the playoffs. I don't know. We'll see. But I'll be rooting like crazy for my Cowboys. Before I go, I definitely want to talk about UFC 243, which happened on Saturday night. I'm not going to go through the whole card. I'm going to talk about the only fight on that card that mattered. Israel Adesanya against Robert Whittaker for the UFC 185 middleweight belt. Oh my gosh, what a fight. Israel Adesanya, the last style bender, crushes Robert Whittaker, fulfills his prophecy, becomes the undisputed UFC middleweight champ. This guy is repeating what Conor McGregor did with 145, when he's doing it much faster, and he's doing it in his own way. I just can't get enough of this guy. He is the real deal. I hope he follows through and does what he says he's going to do, which is defeat John Jones one day. Israel Adesanya, look this guy up. Storied kickboxer turned UFC fighter for less than 2 years in MMA, and he looks more fluid than any of the champions in Bellator right now. And that's probably why he's champion of the real pro MMA organization, UFC. The real pro MMA organization is the UFC. And 185 is no joke in the UFC. And he KOs Robert Whittaker. Also, he had the coolest walkout that I've ever seen. He had like some dancers there that came out, and they did this like Black Panther, little choreographed dance. And then he goes out there at the end of the octagon, reaching in his back pocket, pulling out an imaginary death notebook and writing Robert Whittaker's name in his imaginary book of death, and then going out there and KOing him. This guy can talk crap, he can fight, he can sub you, he can strike with anybody. This guy's the real deal. Watch out for him at 185. And like I said, possibly 205. The last style bender. Israel Adesanya. Hey guys, I want you to do that Embark thing for me. I want you to complain to Embark. Make sure they start treating people with disabilities well so that we can work and make a living in this world like everyone else. I want you to either see some good stand-up comedy. I want you to enjoy these football games coming up. And I want you to interact with me. Hit me up, 6-Foot Cowboy, across all platforms. Let's do what we can to make this podcast work. I will be coming back to you next week with another great episode. Reach out to me if you have any ideas for discussion topics or things you like or didn't like. I would love to hear from you on YouTube or on one of the other social media platforms. Until then, I hope you have a great week. I will try to have a great week. I will be very, very busy, but I think it's quite doable that this will be a very special week. So let's close this episode out. Let's get ready for Monday, which is right around the corner. And hopefully we will be looking at the weekend again before we know it. Let me see if I can get, I don't know if this will work.